Welcome to Work the Left Side. Obviously, there was a True Grit show on Friday night, which means it is Monday. I am joined by the dynamic duo of Dan and Paul. Gentlemen, how are you both?
Very good, mate. I think we've both just about got in the door after the show, haven't we, Paul, after the journeys back we had?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're both stuck in traffic, weren't we, or some sort of transport issue. And just glad to be home and safe and ready to talk to you guys about yet again another great True Grit show.
Awesome. So we'll crack on, I guess. Start with the first match, which was the unsanctioned match, which I kind of like. Makes sense having the unsanctioned match as the first match. It's kind of like, look, this is technically isn't a True Grit match. We'll get it out of the way, and then we can continue with the official matches. So that's how I kind of read it, and I kind of thought that was pretty cool. But it was Encerico versus Joey Slade.
Yeah, good stuff, Paul. I'll leave it to you as the patriarch of the Encerico section. Were you guys as happy as me to see Wes back?
Yeah, definitely, and a new side to Wes as well. Noticed that he was rocking it looked Eddie Guerrero inspired gear, his tights, and we got a glimpse of what's to come. But it's always great having Wes around. I still think he is one of the main sort of parts, the backbone of True Grit. I know that JC's not going to like that, and that's why it's turned sour, but I stand by it, and I know that a few others do. But brilliant to see Wesley back.
Yeah, I thought so. Like I say, with the new gear as well, a bit of a new look and just a bit more of an edge to him this time around, which you'd expect. First match back after being given the boot. But a good old fashioned face versus heel dynamic, which I really really liked. It was mentioned on commentary, I think. Maybe not in this match, but a couple of times during the night, it was a proper partisan crowd, cheer the faces, boo the heels kind of evening. And I think Wes and Joey just set it off really well. Wes is obviously easy to get behind, but Joey's so easy to dislike in this current incarnation, isn't he? I know, Nick, you might disagree.
Yeah, I'm never gonna say I dislike Joey. Joey's boss, he's representing. But yeah, we always sort of say, for the non-Midlands based fan base, clear cut heel, clear cut face. It's just, and like I say, Wes. I mean, you touched on the Eddie Guerrero thing. He even did the Three Amigos at one point, if I remember correctly. And then obviously, he's always done the frog splash anyway, so that just kind of tied in. But he kind of had a little bit of extra shine on most of the moves that he was doing. So especially with the it's not just the Three Amigos, it's not just the frog splash. It's I can never remember the name of the top rope El Senton thing that he does, but he did that. Ended up doing that 3 times as well.
Yeah, the slingshot senton thing of beauty in it when Wes does it. Really, really good opening match. Gets the crowd going because we all want to see what's going on with the Rebels and the regime going forward. Much as I think all three of us predicted, Wesley picked up the win. Just really happy with it, and we got a bit of afters, didn't we, with Wes calling out JC for a fight there and then.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen, was it?
No.
So Will it happen? Will it happen? He said that we know where it's going, but yeah, we only will find out next time we see JC, won't we?
Well, you've got that extra factor now, which we'll talk about during the Riley and Kemper match. They've got that whole new dynamic to the regime now, which puts an extra cog in the machine. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's another loss for Joey though. The apprentice, shall we say, of the regime, the junior member. We've not quite figured out what his official job title is or his rank is in the regime. The under 21, the under 21 division.
The footstool.
Propping everything up. Another mention for Joey though. He's just it is amazing how good he is.
Yes.
At such a young age, been around. He is a young veteran, as we've said before, and even down to I think it was on the third Amigo where he gave that little squeal as he went over. One, it was funny and had me in stitches, but two, I was like, I don't want to laugh at him. I hate that he made me laugh. You know what I mean?
I will say though, poor Joe. I think it happened like 3 times throughout the night. His poor face just against the rope. Every time somebody tried to throw him out the ring, he just face planted the rope every time. I was just like, mate, he's just gonna have like freaking wire burn or rope burn down the side of his face at some point. It's gonna go horribly wrong at some point. He's gonna break his nose or something.
I think I asked you at the time, Nick. The first when Wes did it to him, when Joey went after him with the chair and failed. Did you hear the bar staff when he got launched into the rope? So I can't remember if I told you at the time, but one of the bar staff just went, "Oh my god!" like that, like with genuine concern, thinking he was like legit hurt, and then it just kept happening. Like you say, he's definitely paying his dues and. For anybody wondering about the status of Joey in the regime with those losses, certain comments from James Carr can be found in the most recent article on True Grit Wrestling's website, written by some knobhead, me. Joey seems to be a bit of a special case. Dear me, I think he's more of a work in progress than some of the others, but. Yeah, it was something I've been mulling over in that article of what happens with Riley and other members of the regime and what the losses, what the wins and losses mean for him, and we'll come to that later on because there's a bit more to do. But yeah, really solid opener, on it.
Ticked all the boxes.
Yeah,
set the mood.
Yeah. And your boys must have been happy as well, as I say, Paul. But next up, it was the sponsored match, wasn't it? Yeah, now, I've got a lot to say on this one. It was George Hunter versus Evan Bishop, sponsored by Jobbing with Nicky. So I'll let you guys go first because I could wax lyrical about this match all night.
Paul, obviously I know you started going to Blackheart, so you've seen both Evan and George at Blackheart. Was George there last time you was there?
He was, yeah. He was the mystery partner for Ian Creed.
That's it.
And then I've seen him at the show, obviously, before against Nathan Black. So, yeah, he's been impressive, seeing him rise, product of PPW, all the viral things that he's doing on there. And it's great seeing him out and about. And the matches really are impressive. There's a couple of things that I was going to say about it, but I'm pretty sure that Dan will put it better than I will in terms of where these two can go, Evan and George. And yeah, I'll leave that one to Dan, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Another great sponsored match by Nicky.
Two guys that I have talked about a lot, either on socials or on here, and I've done numerous reels now, just because I just can't get enough of watching what they do, whether it's George's just flying around the ring doing what he does, just Evan's heelishness, just amazing in the ring as well. But it's just the constant berating, just the fan interaction. Like we said on the hype, you can only do that if you're so confident with what you're doing in the ring that you don't even have to think about it, which is what Evan, he's just that confident. He's just that good. So, but yeah, Dan, you are the wordsmith. Feel free to.
Well, I try my best. But this match, honestly, I said at the time to you, Nick, and I can't remember if we caught up at any point about it, Paul, but this match blew me away. It's only my second time seeing both men live. And just they went out there as it's a sponsored match. They don't have any history in True Grit. and they went out there and said, in no uncertain terms to the rest of the card, follow that. Started off with, a bit of, I don't want to sound like a smarky knobhead, but it was chain wrestling, though, but, working the headlock and all that, and just built and built and built right up to the high flying stuff that we know, that both men can do. And it just had what I like in a match of, like I said, just that build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up, get gradually more and more and more. And all the while, you've got George Hunter just stood there and doing his stuff. Again, being the babyface, easy to get behind it. Both men look every inch of wrestler, but George is there. He's got the mullet, he's got the headband, he's got the taff. A bit of an old school feel to him. Evans coming out just oozing attitude and charisma and just being a gobshite. There's that wordsmithery. He's instantly, right, don't like you, dickhead. Want George to win, crowd on board immediately. And I still can't get my head around how sort of new to the business both men are, but particularly Hunter. It's insane to be that good. And I mentioned to you, Nick, at the time, and you raised an eyebrow at me, but he did the chest to the turnbuckle running in, and I've for a long time said, unless you can do it like Bret Hart, don't bother. And I'm not saying George Hunter's as good as Bret Hart, because that's way too soon to be saying anything of the sort. But it was bloody impressive, and he can carry on doing it. That front buckles spot was incredible, and just some of the high flying moves, like the buckshot 450. How do you even think of that, let alone execute it? And he hit the. It looked like he was going for like a best moonsault ever, and he hits a spiral tap to pick up the win. And
took a lot of confidence, because obviously that was what he was going for against Nathan. When a higher power intervened, according to Nathan. But yeah, to step up and do it again and hit it so smooth
in front of an even bigger crowd.
Yeah.
Than last time. And while I'm going on about George, I've got to say as well, Evans striking and just general, they just do everything brilliant between them. There's maybe a couple of things you could nitpick of certain things didn't quite go this way, didn't quite work out, but who cares? Honestly, they had such a good match, and it was only upon rewatching it where I was like, oh yeah, that didn't quite work, but I don't care because they recovered and just went for it. This was incredible for me and will go into one of my top matches of the year.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain. I know we've got a show left. But yeah, I was blown away by this.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel on a rewatch?
Yeah, I think the people that were around me, it was the match that, I could hear the most oohs and ahs, and, the match that did captivate and bring people in more so with the actual moves as opposed to, getting involved into a story, because, we are all intrigued in the stories, but these had nothing to, like, no story to come in with. There's no feud, there's no heat. This is just a wrestling match. So it is impressive, and all that people have got about you is what you're doing in the ring that night. It's nothing to do with your past. It's nothing to do with what they've seen of you, because they haven't. Some of these fans, there's no major fan base. I get that. I'll have seen them in Black Art. People will have seen them here, there, but like for a lot of people that night, it's I don't know these guys, so what can they do? And all that they could do was what they did in the ring, and it was phenomenal. It really, really was. But this is the great thing about what True Grit is doing in terms of the sponsorship thing. JC is a busy man, and he won't he'll know a lot of people that are here, there, and everywhere. But if you do see someone that is great like these guys, and there is a lot out there, you've got the opportunity to sponsor, and it's important. It's a good step up for for people to perform in True Grit in front of a crowd, and with that production that True Grit has, it's a good move for everybody. It's great for the fans that got to see that match. It's great for True Grit to have these caliber people on that they may not have seen. And it's great for the wrestlers as well to perform on True Grit. So it's a good thing, like the sponsorship, and them two are a prime example of it.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. And I, for one, would love a best of 7, but that's just me.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
Anything to add, Nick, or have I covered the bases on that one with George Hunter picking up the win?
You kind of covered the bases.
If I'm going to take that forward, then with the attitude, as with the sort of the heel arrogance and the chirping and the bit of extra stuff, sort of character-wise, that Evan Bishop brings. If I'm comparing, elements of George Hunter to Bret Hart, then I have to compare parts of Evan Bishop to Shawn Michaels. And if we get these two for years to come in True Grit, put them alongside current champion Riley Nova, Billy O'Keefe waiting in the wings, not seen him for a while, and there's a few others. The future is looking incredibly bright.
Yeah.
And there's a cat.
There's a cat. But yeah, that's it. You just kind of goes. But obviously, you mentioned the Shawn Michaels thing. I made the. I said I didn't know how true founded it was, or just what people have sort of said. But I made mention that Evan Bishop may have learned a thing or two from Adam Bolt, which then just backed up, my feelings, both our feelings, everybody's feelings about Adam Bolt and the HBK comparisons we've made in the past. So there you go. Maybe that is, just passing on that knowledge and that expertise selling. Yeah,
we'll get to Mr. Bolt later. Might have a few things to say on that one. But shall we get on to the next match?
Yeah.
Which I believe was Lally versus NRG.
Yeah.
Lally on debut, NRG returning for the first time in a while. And my God, was this fun. Yeah. This was just so bloody entertaining. Been waiting for the debut of Lally for a long time. And I think it's fair to say we weren't disappointed, were we, gents?
No.
Right, you two go then, because I just bollocked on for ages about George Hunter and Evan Bishop. So someone else take the reins on this one.
Like you say, it's been building. We've had the whole Lana disturbing and Holly disturbing in a Lana match. Holly getting the stipulation if she wins, she gets to team with Lana. They get to form Lally. We get to see it at True Grit. The moment came. It's finally here. We get to see Lally in action. NRG, the ever reliable, still waiting on them to win a match, but they turn up, they make everything look good, and like I say, they have fun matches, technically sound great fun matches as well, not just fun. It was a great wrestling match as well. And yeah, Lana was pulling out stuff we've not seen for a long time, seemed very inspired by the partnership with Holly, whether she'll admit it or not. I think Holly brings out the best in Lana.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
And that poison Lana.
Right. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying that poison Lana, that's your hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think what I like about it is, yes, they are tagging now, but there still seems to be that almost a little bit of reluctancy from Lana. It's not as straightforward, we're best friends now. There is that little bit of reluctancy, but I do like the fact that, when Lana gets that tag in, she just absolutely destroyed NRG. I like it in a sense that I know, Nick, you were saying, like, with NRG, almost feeling a bit of pity on him in a sense of, inevitably, they're going to lose this one. They're losing a lot, and, it's sad to see. But I think in the way that they lost this match, that slight bit of credibility that they had, it's still there. It's not like it's lost, because I feel like they were almost complacent.
There's no losing to Lally.
No, exactly. And I think that the way that they lost as well, they did seem quite complacent. I think they underestimated Lally, and it did make for some real fun spots.
Yeah, it's a good shout, that, Paul. The sort of underestimating from NRG, I picked up on that as well. But again, just a great heel thing to do, especially in an intergender match context. But yeah, when you say there's definitely no shame in losing to Lally. Holly Barlow's a fantastic wrestler who's just skyrocketed in True Grit since the Rumble and that moment with Big T. And Lana's one of the best the UK's ever produced. Just one of the best wrestlers on these shores ever. I've been watching her for ages. I remember going to an Impact show at the short-lived Wrestling MediaCon back in 2018. She had a match with Sue Young there. That was fantastic. I've seen her wrestle anybody and everybody, and she always puts on an absolute banger from everywhere. From down south, if you remember, I don't know if Lana ever wrestled for Riptide, but she goes down south with Progress, up north with ICW. Lana's just fantastic, and it will come for NRG in True Grit. I fully believe that. We were talking off air about a potential bit of a tag team void in terms of the titles and who'd fill that. I think we're going to see NRG step up sooner rather than later. So I think you're going to get your wish, Nick. They're going to be winning a match here and there, and then they're going to need someone like NRG to fill a slot at the for a tag title shot sooner rather than later. And those lads deserve it. Like you said, they're always incredible, face or heel. They do great work. They make everything look good. They're just all round really bloody good wrestlers.
Yeah.
They deserve it based on what they've done everywhere else. Obviously, the win-loss record. Again, it depends on your viewpoint if that's that shit matters or not. But for me, it kind of does. Based on the results, it's great. They ain't going to get there yet. But I think obviously we'll get the Misery Business versus Powers That Be rematch. But then after that, you said there's a void in the tag team. Crossbow have gone. Nash Boat are tied into the Rebel storyline.
Powers That Be are there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Powers Be that will get pulled into that as well after their rematch. So once they've had their rematch, what tag team? Besides bringing in, I'm all for bringing in your team here and there, get Misery Business on the roll, but then they also need to have NRG beat people as well. So we're going to need at least two tag team matches per show. One to build NRG's momentum, one to obviously keep Misery Business as dominant champs, looking awesome as they are. Yeah. If we get Misery Business versus Yorkshire Tough at some point, I would pop huge.
We need that to happen, I think.
I need to see Reese and Rogan in True Grit. There's no ifs or buts about it. I would sponsor the match, but I can't afford it. I've got Christmas presents to buy. So
exactly. I'd like to see Jack Turner and B.A. Rose reunite. Violence Party.
Yeah. That was one of the names that I was thinking of when I couldn't remember the name, but I only saw them at Jacob's Ladder 2023, my first show, but I only saw them once, and I was trying to think what was the name of that tag team. That's the only other one that I could really see filling in the void after, but away for a couple of years now in True Grit. So
what about the other Violence Party of B.A. Rose and Scotty Rock?
Yeah, could be, or Hack and Slash. Bring Hack and Slash back. Or, there's the tag team staring us in the face who won one match. What about Lally getting a title shot down the line?
It's face on face, though. I suppose that's the issue. You need, again, it's a one-off match. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But, I want to, again, I'm not standing on my soapbox. It's something I want to see in the women's division. I want to see, somebody chasing for the belt.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out because we've got a lot coming up and we've got a lot to speculate on, and it's it's fun speculation. When does True Grit not deliver?
Yeah,
that's what we got to think of as well. But yeah, going to be fun to see how that plays out. Great to see Lally pick up the win. Just pure wrestling entertainment from Lally and NRG. Loved it. next up was it was the match before the break, wasn't it? It was the True Grit Heavyweight Championship match. It was Riley Nova defending against Kemper in a chain match. Now, this is quite a funny one for me. I've got a few thoughts on it, so I don't know if you want me to go first and you guys can chip in.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an odd thing for this to come to me because I really like both guys, Riley Nova and Kemper, both brilliant, both really good at what they do. On the night, I wasn't that sold on the match. And now I did myself a disservice because I went for a slash and missed the aftermath, which actually made a lot of what happened make sense. So that didn't help. The funny thing is I've gone back and watched the match again on Triller and actually enjoyed it more on Triller than live.
Yeah.
Which is a real funny situation to be in because normally being live, you see it, you feel it, you have everything around it. But I don't know what happened. It's hard to say. Like watching it live somehow wasn't as I don't want to sound overcritical because it was still a good match live, but it come across better on TV. And I don't know if that's because you caught more of the intricacies and the action, like you're actually seeing what caused Riley's cut, seeing him get clipped by the chain, seeing some of the more brutal stuff that happens on the side of the ring where we can't see, from where me and you were stood, Nick. Couldn't always see what was going on. So yeah, real interesting one that I was sort of. It was kind of I kind of watched it and just went, yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
Live. Then came home and watched it and I thought actually that was way better than I gave it credit for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think well, I might have a theory as to why, because I remember you saying on the night, when referee went down with his shoulder, you thought, oh, that looks a bit weak. That you thought that the idea was that was going to cost the match, but with there being the twist in there, that it was all a plan. You were like, right, so that's why it looked weak. And then I think because you knew that was going to happen, then and you had that in your mindset watching it back, you're like, yeah, it's weak, but he's play acting, he's playing possum. It's not a weak finish, or it was something a bit different. So maybe that was like part of it.
Yeah, potentially, and as well, I think again, this is just a weird one. I think because with the camera for the TV for Triller, you're right up in the action, and Riley's barrage of elbows at the end looked more brutal on TV somehow than it did live. And I don't know. It's maybe I'm just on the wrong end of the stick, and if I'd have not gone for a slash, I'd have been more clued in. But like I say, it's just calling it like I say it. It was still a good match live, absolutely. Two talents of the caliber of Riley Nova and Kemper. It's always going to be, especially in the chain match and that extra bit of brutality. Nick, what were your thoughts on it?
Pretty much what you said. Again, I don't know if both guys are a victim of their own success in the sense of, did we have too high an expectation? I was the same as you. I've watched it, a couple of times since, and absolutely loved it. It's so much better on TV. Like I said, I don't know what it was with being there. If we just lost something, or like I sort of said, if my expectations were too high, because of the ending explained it, like you sort of said, Paul, about the weak acting playing possum. It was all, he's turned Neil Patrick kind of thing. But until that explanation happened, it took me out of the moment. I was stood there like, oh man, no, this is just, it's just. But second time I watched it, I knew what was going on. I enjoyed it a lot more. But I just think, at that point, it took me out of it, and it pulled me back in with the reveal. Lee's gone heel, but for 3, 4, 5 minutes, I hate myself for saying it. I lost interest.
I do wonder
Yeah,
as well.
I was fortunate in a sense that I saw it completely different, only because the 4 or 5 minutes in your question were the 4 or 5 minutes that I actually looked away. I had something to deal with either Thomas or Robbie, or someone was causing a problem with us, the kids. So all that I remember is Becky saying to me, "Oh, his shoulder's okay," and I just looked back into the ring and I thought, "All right, well, why? What happened? Why should his shoulder be bad?" So I missed that. So then I just saw like the reveal. I was like, "Oh, I missed how he actually hurt himself." So I was at the opposite end. But I always like like a chain match or a strap match, anything like that. But I feel like there is only so far that you can take that in a show that's got kids there. Like a family friendly show. Like when you think of a chain match, you're thinking like absolutely strangle the hell out of him, beat the shit out of him. Let's get a bit of blood off that chain. I know that we did, but not to the level that you'd probably see at like an ECW or something like that. So I do enjoy that. I just don't think that you can take that to the full brutality of what
Oh
it
no,
says on the tin on a family friendly show. But yeah, it's a box for me. I just missed the actual start of the heel turn, so I was okay on that.
If anybody's unsure about it, what we're saying is go watch it on Triller. Watch the match again, and you will love it. Again, this is no besmirchment. Both guys are amazing. I mean, we all hold both guys really high in regards to what they can do, the talent, their awesomeness. But yeah, it's just one of the few occasions. It doesn't happen. I think this is the first time I can actually ever say, yeah, I lost interest for a few minutes.
I think it's one of those as well. It's a rarity in that certain matches do come together better when you've got the full wrestling presentation, so to speak. When you've got the camera angles, the commentary, then you get the crowd reactions layered on top of that, and then everything just feels a bit bigger on a smaller screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And part for me is as well. Actually, I meant to say this earlier. I was sort of examining my own thoughts on it and wrestling in general. I think for me, I'm just not a particular fan of the four corners thing.
No.
It's a bit like I'm not a massive fan in a last man standing or a Texas death match where you've got to have the 10 counts, because I don't mind a methodical pace of a match. I'm a massive Gunter fan. I think these matches are brilliant, but then they're not a mile a minute. But something about it just takes me out of it. Yeah. Anyway, I think like I said, it was still good. That's the crux of it, and it is just an honest opinion. That's it. And this is what we're here to deliver. Looking at the poster for the next show, I'm not convinced that Riley and Kemper are done by any means. Both men are on the poster for the October show, but we'll see how that plays out and see what's next for them all, because there was regime involvement as well in this. So and with Lee doing what he did, the wannabe Nick Patrick prick, Kemper is owed another shot, but will he get it? Will Lee become Riley's referee? Will it become a combination of Nick Patrick and Little Nate?
Yeah.
There's still a lot there to get our teeth into. Sorry, Paul.
No, sorry, you finish.
No, just saying there's still a lot there to get our teeth into, and it's going to be great to see how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously after that was Riley did a little promo and called himself Bulletproof.
Yes.
And we only know one person that goes by the name of Bulletproof, and I was surprised. I'll be honest, I was surprised. I thought we were going to wait a little bit longer for Brady to come back. I loved that he come back. I was surprised, and I was in the mode. I was like, oh my God, he's here, Bulletproof. I must admit, I was expecting Jack Marshall to walk out until he said Bulletproof, and then I thought, no, can't be. And then, obviously, we see the returning Brady Phillips.
It was good.
So, what were your thoughts?
Heartbroken. I kind of got myself hyped up. I wanted that moment. I talked about it. Right? I wanted that moment in the Rumble. I wanted to experience a moment like that in person. You know, somebody's been out injured, somebody comes back at the Rumble, you just hear the music or you see the video, and I just imagine everybody in left back just standing, you know, just kind of like. But yeah, that's just me, obviously getting in my own head again, kind of thing. But it's never a bad thing when you see Brady. So, you know, yeah, Brady's back. He looks awesome. You know, he stood there. It's very weird hearing him get cheered. But again, you know, it's all good.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're on board with one of the Midlands boys.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same, and it's all south of here. One thing we forgot to mention: Riley Nova's Undertaker entrance.
Yeah.
Just the length of it. Oh, talk about self-indulgent, but that's all there to make you hate him, innit?
You get a song of that quality, you've got to let it play out.
Yeah.
It's a fair point. We had the interval then coming out of the interval, because that was the world heavyweight title. The heavyweight title match was the first of 4 title matches in a row. Coming out of that was favourite of the show, Adam Bolt, defending his Pride title against another favourite of the show, Monet. Now we've been looking forward to this one for a couple of months, haven't we, lads? Much hyped by all of us, and I was trying to think of the right words for it, but Adam and Shay kicked the living shit out of each other.
Yeah,
slightly different.
We wanted.
Sorry. It's a slightly different pace than I was expecting. But it was great. But it was more. I think it was more technical. You know what I mean? There was a storyline behind it. Obviously, working Shay's shoulder. You know, both guys just absolutely delivered. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it's what I wanted as well, kind of thing. So it was just. I'll let you two crack on, and I'll chirp in again. But
Paul.
Yeah, as you said, everything that you wanted it to be. I like the fact that there was a calculated side to Adam Ball. I feel that Shay Monet has got under his skin quite a bit. Obviously, sending Jackie T in to do the dirty work last time, and I felt like working that part just was almost a different side to Adam Ball. You know, really homing in on that shoulder, and I enjoyed that. That match, the whole of it. I was worried that because we were thinking we were going to get that last time, we didn't get it, and the anticipation's there, and I think that we were expecting even more this time than probably what we were expecting when Jackie T took his place. So they set a high bar, but absolutely lived to it as well.
I'd say so.
I'm just thinking now, who's Adam Bolt got to prove against now? You know, he's still holding that belt. I'm just thinking, what's next? But obviously, before that, usual what chirping about what you thought of the match itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think him and Shay have done, because obviously we had the Ivy bell ring towards the end.
Yes.
So, you know, Shay's got a valid point of there's always something, there's always just that distraction, that interference, just give me a one-on-one match.
Yeah, that's the crux of it coming out of it, and that was part of my, the first article I wrote a little while back about Adam and his title reign. The matches he puts on are of such a high quality, and he is so good. And it's just that bit of shithousery that if he's good enough to win on his own. We know this, and the record books will say in this match that Shay tapped out. But there was all the Jackie T fuckery. Sandy did a great job taking the baton and the whatever the spray is off Jackie at the start. Then Adam had a mini spray in his coat, and just straight up one-on-one. Just that was terrible wording for a Pride Championship. What the fuck am I doing? But just give us a legit one-on-one. Yeah. And we'll see him go. They went to war, but we knew Adam was always going to do something. And he likes to have a chirp at me, does Adam? I'm one of his biggest fans is probably a bit too far, but I love watching him wrestle. I do. I just wish he wasn't as much of a dick as he is. And somehow he holds that against me. He called me a pest earlier, just because I pointed out that Shea's still leading 3-2 in singles wins. But anyway, this match absolutely stunning, really was. You had Shea hitting Adams top rope stunner, which Shea made look incredible as well.
Yeah, like one of the move sets that is part of Shea's artillery. You wouldn't think that it was an adopted move from Adam. Hit it so smooth.
Yeah, he did. And like you said, Adam having that bit of extra sort of targeted aggression and that bit more focused, just a bit more clinical, surgical, was absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed the whole thing. If it wasn't for Hunter and Bishop, this would have probably been my match of the night, I think. Yet again, and it's another feather in the cap of Adam Bolt. I'm just throwing it out there now. I know we've got another show left, but Adam Bolt is True Grit's Wrestler of the Year for me.
Yeah, we've said this a couple of times. We've got one more show left. Based on the news that we've heard, that the York show is going to be a TV taping show. Are we expecting the matches to be TV quality or pay-per-view quality matches?
I'm expecting it to be True Grit quality.
Yeah, but will there be 10, 15-minute matches? Will we get a few 5-minute matches because they've got stuff to film? That again, it's just a question. That's. Am I looking at Jake? Are we looking at Jacob Webb as the last big show of the year?
Yeah.
Well, it generally is anyway, because Festive Forearms last year was a lot of fun. It was a really good True Grit show. From what I can remember, I was quite delirious given my travel schedule that day. But Jacob's Ladder is one of the pillar shows, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, but York generally puts on at least one banger, every time. There's at least one or two match of the year contenders at York every time.
Yeah, and there will be this year. I need to go back through the through the records, and double check everything because it's getting late and I can't remember off the top of my head at the best of times.
It's just me being conditioned as a wrestling fan. I hear the word TV taping. I think every now and again, obviously there's hidden gems. You got X-Pac versus Bret Hart. You got HBK versus John Cena in an Iron Man match kind of thing. But for the most part, the matches for TV aren't as good as pay-per-view matches, and that's why they're pay-per-views. They're not.
Did you guys happen to catch True Grit TV when it in its first incarnation?
No.
So I think it's still on YouTube. It was a couple of matches and a bit of backstage stuff. I think it was generally about 45 minutes.
It's filmed at PPW, wasn't it?
Yes, it was filmed at PPW. So I don't think we're not going to see a drop in quality because I don't think that's in James's nature to do that. There might be 10, 15-minute matches instead of 15, 20, maybe. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it works out because it's something new, something that not many, if any, promotions have tried in a long time. ICW had a weekly show at one point before they got bought out by WWE. I seem to remember.
Blackheart did it for about a year.
Yeah, sorry, they did, yes. And I knew there was another promotion around here. I just, again, can't think off the top of my head. So, yeah, really interested to see how it goes in terms of that. Could we? Do you know what I'd love to see if we're building up to Adam versus Shea again at left bank? What if we got Adam and Jackie against like Shea and Sammy Blue at York as part of the True Grit tapings? If Adam and Jackie win, Shea can't challenge again. If Shea and Sammy win, Shea gets a shot. another shot. Something like that, because Ivy's back now, so and Ivy's obviously protecting Adam again. That was something else I speculated about in that article. Where does Ivy stand? We don't really know yet where Ivy stands in terms of the regime. JC did say that he expects professionalism and to be there to do the job that she was hired for. She's certainly done what she does for Adam, being one of her best friends. So, yeah, exciting times ahead and interesting times ahead, I think, is fair to say. I think I said...
anything I'm saying, I'm not saying in a gnarly way. I'm just putting the questions
No.
Because I kind of figure people would be asking kind of thing, or people would be interested or intrigued. So
I think everyone will have a speculation of, how they would do it themselves. Because, like, for me personally, if you were to have like shorter matches, 5-minute matches, I'd still be on the wavelength of you still got a crowd in attendance that are going to be watching that show itself. So if you're putting on 5-minute matches and more matches, that means booking a hell of a lot of wrestlers for that evening. So would that recuperate then in, what you're putting out on TV, like over the next so many weeks? I think there's only one way we're going to find out, and that's just how it'll come. But it is exciting. I'm excited. What's better than having to wait a month for True Grit? You're going to get it every week. I think it's fantastic.
And the speculation's part of the fun as well. And we always do it on this show. We're fantasy booking. We're wondering where the stories are going to go, how things are going to pan out. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yet another banger for Adam Bolt. Slightly nefarious means, but I must say, just one last thing on that. He tapped Shay out because he spent the whole time working the shoulder, going for the crossface. It was awesome to see a wrestler win a match with the Rings of Saturn.
Yes.
And I think I popped rather loudly for that at the time. And then after the match, Adam Bolt followed through on his promise, got in my face a little bit with the belt for some reason. Don't know why. Who could say? Jackie T had a lot to say, but didn't get within 10 feet of me. So, waistcoat wanker. I'm going to talk myself into an absolute kicking one day, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. The women's title match was up next, semi-main event. Alexis Falcon, Natalie Sykes, one that we were definitely looking forward to. And yet another match that absolutely 100% delivered. I watched it again just before we recorded. Just watching it back on Triller, didn't realise quite how much these two knocked the fuck out of each other at the time. But by this point, it's well known that I will have had more than a few beers. But yeah, lads, over to you.
Well, take the pot.
Yeah. I'm liking the work that Alexis Falcon that she's coming in and doing. Liked straight from the off. Believe it or not, I've heard the name. I've seen Alexis Falcon all over the place. I've never actually seen Alexis Falcon wrestle until the recent return and then chasing Rio for the title. That's like really strange for someone that considers himself a wrestling fan, but I can't really say like's quite a strong word when you're dealing with someone so annoying like Alexis, especially putting that belt up in Thomas's face. A huge amount of respect, so I can say that I respect the work, the character. I'm always interested to see what Disney, am I allowed to say that, Disney are inspired by, who she'll be inspired by next that we might have seen growing up. I think that she looks rather like somebody that likes to have Dalmatian coats this time. I don't know about you. Did you notice the hair? But yeah, great to see Natalie Sykes back. I think it was one of them unfortunate ones that I know we see Natalie a couple of months ago at the WrestleFest. I think it's just unfortunate that because it's not really a mainstay at the moment. We kind of knew which way this was going to go, but irregardless, great match, great moments, and I can almost feel that there is a bit of a feud building between the two, and we could potentially see this one be redone again this match, and I'd certainly welcome it. I enjoy watching these two go at it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's two matches. Two matches now, isn't it? Obviously, this was a rematch from WrestleFest, as you said, and I think it's the second time there's been a bit of a shenanigans finish that's prevented Natalie picking up the win. So she certainly has a gripe and something that that Bobby may take into account, shall we say, or Ivy might dismiss. So there's something that could be made out of that, which would be good. Like I say, we're looking for these as fans. We're looking for these stories, these long-term chases, and I could absolutely see that happening. I did love the fact that there was on the left-hand side of the room, as we looked into it, there was a group of people there who were just going after Hull constantly. Chanting, it's not a real county, and Hull sucks, and all of that. It was.
I was wondering what that was. I was trying to pick up on it. I wondered what they were shouting. I knew Alexis was getting triggered by something, and yeah, that's what they were saying. Right? I said to Bex, "What are they saying over there?" But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, another good match. Like I say, they battered each other. It's again. I think I said this in the hype show, Nick. It's hard to pick out one standout aspect for either Alexis or Natalie because they're so good at everything.
Yeah, they've got everything down to on point. The characters, the mannerisms, the wrestling abilities, just next level. It's always going to be a great match. Like I said, I missed the WrestleFest one, so I was happy to see this one at Left Bank. And yeah, please God, give me that face chasing the belt. And if that's Natalie, amazing. I'd love to see a series of matches between Natalie and Alexis.
Sorry, I just had a goosebumps moment. Imagine Rio returning at the Rumble.
If it's not going to be Brady, I would pop for Rio being at the. That would be okay. If we're not getting Brady at the Rumble, give us Rio at the Rumble.
Yeah. There's quite a few people that you could throw in the mix that you'd think, my God, if they come back at the Rumble. So yeah, exciting.
We'll have to save that for the Rumble preview show, lads. But another good match. I will say that's 3 matches in a row with heel champions winning by nefarious means.
It's almost like wrestling in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, no, the matches went longer than 4 minutes.
And not all of them had interference.
True. Yeah. It was because it was interference and the ref turn in the world title match. It was what did Adam do? I'm completely blanking now. It was this. He had the spray nicked, and then was it just a kick in the balls?
It was some sort of I can't remember exactly. I've just watched it again today. I've just got to keep track of all the shenanigans. I've lost track of them.
Oh, it was the bell, wasn't it? It was Ivy with the bell.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Ivy with the bell, and then
Shay thought that won, and then there was confusion, and there was obviously a blindside, wasn't there?
Yeah, bloody hell, you can tell it's getting late. We're best getting to the main event. But yeah, Alexis wins with a distraction of the referee and the belt shot on the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
and we've had a bloody good night so far, and the main event's still to come. Main event, 3-team ladder match, as is tradition at Jacob's Ladder at this point, and we've got the underpants the regime defending the tag titles against Misery Business and the returning Meat Wagon. There he goes. The shirts hadn't even got on the stall, and Paul was in to purchase. And all the guys came out. Meat Wagon had had the most unique entrance, didn't they?
Yeah, it's actually quite funny with regards to that entrance because little disclosure that I'm obviously going to the For the Love of Wrestling. Part of the thing that they do there is an after party which has a cosplay competition. I've applied for Thomas and Robbie because we're going to be going to the after party to do the cosplay entrance, so to enter that competition. They don't really watch WWE, anything like that. So I said to them, who would you want to be then if you go into this show? And then they said Meat Wagon. And obviously with the links that like Future Shock has with Monopoly, who do this For the Love of Wrestling event, Meat Wagon on the poster, obviously, yeah. But they scheduled to be there that night, and I thought, well, that's perfect then. So I've made the outfits for the boys more so for that, but with the guys returning on Friday, I thought we'll give it a test run, and yeah, they looked absolutely thrilled, both ways. My lad's happy to see them back now. They've a certain Mr. McManus has gone, and obviously they looked pleased to see the boys supporting them. So yeah, lovely moment for me that on the entrance, just seeing the kids in the element again.
Yeah, it was great to see. Great to see. And there's no point us trying to go through this match like spot for spot, as it were, because it was a 3-team ladder match. It was absolute chaos. And it was, for the most part, barring one horrible incident, a really good match. I suppose we should get it out the way. We'll talk about the injury.
Just want to say, get well, Anderson. Speedy recovery, mate. Just rest up. Thank you for doing what you do. You got hurt in the line of entertaining the fans. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? I think that's all we need to say. There was an injury. Beware when you're watching it. You can see a little bit on the footage back. It's not pleasant to see if you do spot it. But wish Anderson Daniels nothing but the best and a swift recovery, and we hope to welcome back the Meat Wagon as soon as they're able to. But the rest of it was a lot of fun, a lot of things going on. Down by us, there was all fighting over a table, and then on the other side of the arena, the boys are getting used as weapons to to kick the regime in the face, and Troy Ryan's getting put through the merch table.
Yeah,
I totally missed that. I want to shout out as well, obviously, Anderson hitting what he called a cannonball, what my other half much betterly called a spicy meatball.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot Jay said that. Yeah, that was very good. Calling it a spicy meatball. Well, that was, like we saw Alan Kay doing a dive. Incidentally, actually, because I bought one. Alan Kay's got got a sick new shirt out, so go and have a look at his merch store for that. But yeah, everybody was diving about all over the place. We got the spicy meatball. So that was a lot of fun. Like we saw Nick and you posted, there's tables about everywhere, which we had to wait a little while for that payoff, which was quite nice. Teasers and then pleasers.
That's a shame, Monet. You can't say that.
I knew I'd robbed that from somewhere.
Joe Wade, obviously, with the double foot stomp to Franco on the outside.
The table didn't break.
No.
Just the leg bent and it slipped up. It was rough.
Poor Joe. I had to stop Jay from rubbing Joe's tush, but I was like, no, it's fine. He's all right. But yeah, it was just like I say, you can't call it spot. Obviously, Sash came out after what we talked about at the start of the match. Obviously the fans were a little bit like,
It's hard
deflated.
to get back into it.
Yeah,
after that.
but if anybody's going to bring you back into this match, you know, who else would it be but Nashbo? You know, they come out, fans are boosted again, get loud, and you know they pick up Sash, and I'm sure you'll finish that sentence off.
And they spent the next couple of minutes just giving him atomic drops and just pounding his coccyx.
I thought he was going to say take out the trash.
Yeah.
And then they fucked him off like the big old trash bag that he is. But it was an interesting one, though, because we found at the start of the night that that JC had said that all three members of the regime could be in the match, and then Bobby overrode it.
I picked up on that, yeah.
Didn't know Bobby had the power to do that. I know Ivy and Bobby can't override each other, but quite surprised that Bobby could override the boss. I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong. You know, the less staff, the better for me. I don't mean that. I do quite like hating him. But yeah, just all around, a lot of fun. Ladder match main events are always chaos, particularly with 6 people involved. Yeah, just that one incident deflated a lot of people, as it naturally would. These things happen. It was an accident. The old saying is, it ain't ballet. But yeah, and really happy to be wrong with my prediction in the main event, and we get the first ever 2-time True Grit Tag Team Champions in Misery Business. Very, very happy to see that happen.
There was just something like I don't like to go back to obviously what happened with with Anderson. You know, it was, I felt a bit tougher in a sense that I don't really ask for moments with the kids. You know, like them coming over with the at the start, you know, like on the entrance. I didn't expect that. I certainly didn't know that the kids were going to be used as weapons. You know, these guys come over and give the kids the moments. You know, it's something that I really, really appreciate. It just makes my job as a dad a lot easier when I've got somewhere like True Grit that gives the kids the experiences. So seeing it happen to Anderson, you know, it really sort of got to me that. But something that needs to be said about it is the people that True Grit had in place to deal with that, and there has to be a shout out to them people, the referees, the runners, the medics, everything like that. And I did say something on a social today, because a lot of people have been talking about how good like that situation was dealt with. It was dealt with professionally, swiftly, and you know, they got the best care at True Grit. And you know, it's one of them that we go to the shows and we have always seen these people in the peripherals. It's just on this Friday night, it was unfortunate that we had to see them be put to use. But then people we see at every show, we know that we're there, that they're there, and True Grit has that care for the wrestlers, the care that they deserve. So, as I say, it wasn't nice to see it, but we know that they're there and they're there for a reason. And really, if you're not in a position as a promoter to provide that sort of care, then really you need to sort of think about it, because these things happen. You either close your doors or you get people in place. If that means losing a bit of profit or putting a ticket price up a bit, so be it. But these wrestlers are coming to your show, entertaining your crowd. You need to make sure that they're looked after. But, you know, we've seen that True Grit has always had that in place, and people have always been there. And, you know, it's nice that the unsung heroes at every other show, you don't want to see them be used, but when they were called upon, they give Anderson the best care. And James Carr, promoter, what we say about him, he didn't move from Anderson's side. You know, in hospital and everything like that. So, you know, top class from True Grit, and there are promotions out there. We're not saying all of them don't, but there are some that if that situation was to happen on their show, I'm not sure what care a wrestler would get. So good thing for True Grit.
Seconded. I've been to shows, and I can only imagine how horrible it would have been if that had happened on some of the shows that I've been to. Because again, I know they wouldn't have been dealt with as professionally, as speedily, and as well as you pointed out, as the True Grit team handled that situation. So, yeah.
I do feel bad that I don't know names, but there's a reason that I don't know names, and that's because this thing doesn't happen too often. They are there, you see them, you don't know the names because they don't get called upon often, but, well done to everyone involved on that.
Yeah, they prevented a bad situation from being much, much worse and potentially saved Anderson a lot of pain and suffering. A lot more pain and suffering, shall we say. But big shout out to everybody involved and for how it was handled, and just another wish for a speedy recovery for Anderson. And to end on a bit of a higher note, congratulations, Misery Business. As we said, the poster for the next show, Road to the Rumble, has come out. It must have been produced before the events of Friday night because the regime still have the tag titles. But with the regime losing the belts, how much grace do we think the powers that be and Sash have in terms of their place in the regime? Because all it took was one failed title challenge and Brady was shipped off. What do we think could happen to the powers that be? I reckon they're going to get a fairly swift rematch. But again, it's more fun speculation. So where do you guys think we're going?
I think they'll get, as you said, they'll get the rematch. If they do get shit canned, who takes the place?
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, JC's in a position at the moment. Yeah, well, JC's in a position at the moment where he's got a target on his back with Wes. So, you're going to have some people surrounding you. And I don't think your security team's enough.
No. But no offense to the security team, but when you're standing in front of guys like, Wes or Brady, no. You're just not quite as intimidating. But I think, Franco, Sash and Brad's will be allowed, a few more chances. I can't see them getting the Brady treatment until maybe a few more faces turn up, and then they may be getting groomed to replace them. But I can't see anybody new coming in to replace them.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like I say, it's just fun to speculate and maybe sow some fear in the regime members. Because I know don't get me wrong.
I mentioned them earlier. If you're going to replace the powers that be with anyone, Yorkshire Tough are two beefy boys. You want somebody watching your back. You want security. You want your security to be Yorkshire Tough.
Certainly do. But that was Jacob's Ladder. A good night had by all. The card on paper was an absolute banger, and so was the delivery on the night. Yet another cracking show in the bag. Onwards to the Rumble, Road to the Rumble on the 13th of December.
And obviously, any questions we've got will be answered in York next month when we kind of get to see first person what the format's going to be for the TV sort of stuff. The matches, and as you sort of say, it's all speculation. It's all interesting. It's all exciting. So
I think it's going to be just quickly. I think it's going to be a situation where we have two intervals again. So it'll be like first third of the show, second third, final third, which will be a really interesting way of doing it because the two interval system worked quite well on previous shows, which would be nice. And then we've seen the poster as well. There's a couple of returning names on there. Gungo's on there for the kids, Paul. Be interesting to see how he plays out on in York with the new board and whatnot. I think I saw Tim Strange on there, so we're always happy to see Tim Strange. Then we've got Brady Phillips is on there. All the champions are on there. Crucially, Misery Business, Riley Nova, Lexus Falcon, Adam Bolt, and Wing Commander Nash is on there. So it looks like we're going to get a continuation of the unsanctioned matches. So yeah, really excited for the next York show.
Yep.
Yeah.
No Billy O'Keefe though, but fingers crossed. We'll see Billy back.
We've got the 6 blanks, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got 6 blanks. Is Views on the poster, or could he be one of the blanks we're thinking?
I think he is.
He's on it, yeah. He's on it, yes. Oh, nice. Missed Views. But yeah, so gentlemen, do you want to do your sign-offs? Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, I'll go first this time because Paul's got more to plug nowadays. On Twitter and Instagram, Dan Griffin21, talking all kinds of shit, posting all kinds of shit. Come along and have a laugh. If you want to hear more of me talking about stuff, head on over to Unbooking the Territory at UTT Podcast for all the wrestling stuff. The Doctor Who Pod at the DRWHOPOD at the Doctor Who Pod for Doctor Who stuff, and the Volley for any football commentary I do.
Yep. And then I've wrote mine down here. Paul's Wrestling Art. I've unified all of them. So the TikToks, the Instas, everything like that should all be under Paul's Wrestling Art now. It's just a big push for me for my art, which I'm going to be displaying at the For the Love of Wrestling in February. So yeah, you get a bit of a sneak peek to what I'll be taking there. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
Cool. And obviously you know who we are. So I will say thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. Thank you for watching, and remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.